Okay, you're live.
All right, great. We'll go ahead and get started. I want to start today by welcoming Mr. Westfall and Ms. Galan to the PPA Board Committee. We're looking forward to working with you and Ms. Roach this rest of this year and next year. Also, we do have a change to our committee schedule. We used to meet every other month, and we've changed it to every month. So we'll go ahead and get started with Mr. Hernandez giving us the community relations update.
Thank you, Mrs. Orlos. Just very quickly tonight, we are in the flow of kind of a lot of typical end of year stuff, but I wanted to highlight two things. One, we hired our new community relations coordinator a couple of weeks ago, and that the transition has gone very, very well. She's hit the ground running, Kelly Larson, and so I'm very grateful for that. And everything just kind of keeps moving now as we move towards the end of the year. And then also we have published and will soon be in mailboxes the new issue of the core newsletter. And so, just kind of moving along with that. Everything else is kind of just pro forma at this point.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
The agenda for tonight, it's personnel items. There are 3 proposed personnel positions that are tied to the ESSERS grant. The first one is the addition of 14 learning specialists. The job of the learning specialist was established for the purpose of providing direct instruction and support for students to improve student achievement. The learning specialist will also support teachers in the implementation of effective instructional practices. This position is designed to increase individual student progress and increase teacher capacity to identify and support student achievement.
Can we ask questions?
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry. Are these
No.
brand new, or do we already have this position and we're adding?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the way we have it, the way we have the funding is we're looking at current teachers, and it can be up to 10 years of experience already, which is why we have the $4.8 million, because chances are it will be one of our current teachers with the experience and have built the relationships with our students and staff.
So then they're new positions to,
Yes.
okay.
So they'll be, yes, they're new positions.
And do we see them continuing past the grant or going away when the grant money goes away?
So right now it's just a 2-year plan. So I think we'll, progress monitor how it's working to determine the longevity of the positions.
Okay. And then my other questions were just about like splitting them up.
So I can talk a little bit
Yeah.
more about that. So the plan was to give them, when we talked with our teachers and administrators about the position and the need for support, the preference is obviously 1 per building. However, in the first year and looking at the cost, they understood that we might need to split. So the request was if they had to split between buildings, that we recommend no more than 2 buildings. Because that way then you could either work 2 days 1 week, 3 days another week, as opposed to 1 or 2 days 1 building, 1 or 2 days in another. So typically we would pair 2 elementaries that would be close together or 2 middle schools, but the preference is to keep the learning specialists at their level. So they would be 2 elementary buildings, 2 middle school buildings.
Sure.
There will most likely have to be 1 person that splits between an elementary and middle. And if possible, once we review and go through our other ESSERS requests, we would like to consider at the middle school specifically, if there is enough funds to actually put 1 full person at the middle school and have the other specialists split between the elementaries. That would balance out the number of students that they would be supporting. It would balance out the need to support students that are in interventions. So right now, the recommendation is 1 for every 2 schools, with the hope that if we do have additional funds, that we can put a full-time at each of our middle schools.
And they're going to teach
So they
a
will,
class or a group too?
that the recommendation is that they work directly with students as well as with teachers. So we would be looking at students that would need problem solving, that maybe are not making progress in their current interventions and need somebody to maybe do more thorough progress monitoring, more direct assessments with that student. sometimes to get a good understanding of a student's needs, you actually have to work directly with them. So the plan is that they may provide a direct intervention to that student for a period of time, and then be able to coach their teacher to be able to support that student in ways that they identified that that student needs. We felt it was important to make sure that the specialists came in and worked with students primarily, but then also provided that knowledge and coaching to the teachers afterwards so that the student wasn't just successful with one person.
Okay.
Just to tie in, every position's a one-year position, to your point, and then, from there, based on the grant and kind of based on Mrs. Orlo said related to that. Remember, the ESSERs, we apply for the first, there's 3 of them. ESSERs 2, the deadline's June 30th that we apply for. And so the things that we know we're putting toward that are the HVAC at Plainfield Central and the summer programs to continue to roll those. Your question about the new, are these new? Yes, that's what we bring to PPA. If one of our recommendations for the ESSERS money is to lower the class size at freshman year for our high schools where we would add staff.
Okay.
So we inform the board of that recommendation, but because it's already a position and not a new one, it doesn't come here formally.
Got it.
So
Okay.
we plan to give a presentation on all the ESSERs once our first application, like the ESSERS 2 is 6 million, ESSERS 3 is 15 million. A lot of the staffing pieces would come out of the ESSERS 3.
Got it. Okay. I guess my thought is, I think it sounds great. I'm just concerned if they work directly with kids and they're split across 2 buildings, just how much time that eats up and then being available for staff. That's all. It feels great. And then I'm just concerned when you think about how big some of the buildings are and how many teachers there are. And we don't know where kids are right now. Some of them with their learning. I'm just concerned that they'll be really stretched thin and the buildings won't feel that relief or that good feeling that these should bring.
Well, and that was their preference, was 1 per building, and that's why our hope is if there is additional money, once we finalize what our ESSER spending is, that we can look to consider to pull 1 at each building. And the buildings would agree with you. However, in order to get the experience that we need in this position, it is very costly. So we want to make sure that we are getting positions that support students and that we're not stretching them too thin. So the feedback that we got was 2 buildings was realistic. We have many other positions where they're able to split between 2 buildings and provide direct interventions. Right now, we have district-wide reading specialists in special ed that actually split between 3 buildings, and they are able to provide direct interventions. Their intervention groups change as students' needs change.
Sure.
And
Do those positions through us? It just seemed like there's a lot of coaching, like they're working with the paraprofessionals, they're working with classroom teachers, they're modeling, they're co-teaching, they have a caseload, and that's all. It just seems like, wow, that's to be split across 2 buildings, that's a lot. That's all.
That is the world of special ed and RTI, I think, is really balancing a lot of responsibilities at the same time. I agree. It is a filled position.
Okay.
The next item is addition of 12 instructional technology coaches. The role of the instructional technology coach is to deploy ongoing professional development for teachers with a specific focus on the integration of technology into both the curriculum as well as methods of instruction. They'll support staff within the digital learning environment and provide personalized supports in meeting instructional needs of classrooms. This is a stipend position for our current employees. The professional development is done after the workday.
I had just had one, but I think you answered it, that all the work that they do is outside the workday, or are they sometimes doing stuff during the workday?
Just to institute, so it's an hourly rate.
Yeah.
It's like up to 100 hours is that. They design our professional development videos, in-person things, both over the summer and then during the school year. They could do some things on like a SIP day, institute day, but they would still have their teaching responsibilities assigned to that.
Okay.
the next item is the addition of 2 ELL teacher screeners. These are district-wide ELL screeners who will support at the elementary level to test and teach. Right now, we're over 700 students who are supported by the ELL program. So the main focus here is assisting with the ELL screening and supporting elementary ELL students district-wide.
So these are ELL teachers stationed at elementary level. What's happened is the screening piece of it. We're very concerned. You know, it was 500 2 years ago students. This year was 700 students. A lot of ELL students won't come in to get screened now, particularly in the COVID environment. And so what we would do is these teachers would be directly responsible for screening as many kids as they can. Currently, the classroom teacher screens our kids, but even what we found this year is they're spending a lot of time screening and not instructing. And then once we get caught up, then the ELL teachers, we're hiring them a lot.
Yeah.
So really this would just be initial focus to work on the screening, continue to do that, but then they would be based at an elementary to work with students. But their caseload would be smaller to start, and then depending on how that goes with the screening.
Do you guys do like screening teams where like a whole group swoops into one building, knocks it all out, and then moves on to the next? And
That was the plan for this year, actually. We haven't.
we had lots of plans for this year.
Yeah, that was really kind of exactly what you described, so we can knock it out.
Yeah.
And we had not done that. And these individuals would be a part of that and lead some of that.
Okay.
And the last item is not tied to ESSERS. It is the treasurer stipend. We're looking to assign a stipend of $4,000 to the role of the treasurer for the Board of Education. Per board policy, we need to identify a stipend amount that will stay the same for the duration of the person that's in this position. Tony did survey surrounding districts. And after doing the survey, we found that $4,000 was comparable to what other districts are paying. And that is all we have for tonight's agenda. Anybody have any other questions? Motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, thank you.
A Ricola or something.
I have a sinus infection. And,
into it. I'm going to the gym a lot, just keeping myself active and taking a JGC course. This year I'm excited. I'm actually excited for e-learning, but I hope that we'll eventually go back, but I'm kind of worried about going back and just how everyone's going to handle it, because I know no matter what happens, no one's going to, like, people aren't gonna be happy no matter what. Yeah. That's me.
Hi, my name is Brianna Villalobos, and I'm the new student ambassador for Plainfield South High School. Currently, I'm going to be a junior, and I'm really excited about that. At school, I like to be a part of Student Council, Plainfield South Leadership Corps, Blue Crew, and Spanish Club. Outside of school, I also like to participate in volunteering for my church, doing food drives, being a leader at summer camps. I also like to babysit for families, and that's pretty much me. Thank you so much. Bye.
Hello, I am Joshua Smith, a junior and the new student ambassador for Plainfield North High School. On my free time, I enjoy playing guitar, collecting fountain pens, and hanging out with my 2 younger brothers. This year as a student ambassador, I look forward to helping the district create a better environment for all of the students at Plainfield North and at our neighboring high schools. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sam Muthin, and I'm going to be a senior at Plainfield East High School. Some activities that I enjoy are being a part of band, Scholastic Bowl, math team, and learning how to code. I'm really excited to be a student ambassador this year, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thanks!
Hello, my name is Lydia Magamenius. I am the student ambassador for Plainfield Central High School. I'm going to be a junior this year. This summer, I have been nannying for a family. I've been doing volleyball, not much, but we've gotten back into it. I've been going to the gym a lot, just keeping myself active and taking a JGC course. This year, I'm actually excited for e-learning, but I hope that we'll eventually go back, but I'm kind of worried about going back and just how everyone's gonna handle it, because I know no matter what happens, no one's gonna, people aren't gonna be happy no matter what. Yeah. That's me.
Hi, my name is Brianna Villalobos, and I'm the new student ambassador for Plainfield South High School. Currently, I'm going to be a junior, and I'm really excited about that. At school, I like to be a part of Student Council, Plainfield South Leadership Corps, Blue Crew, and Spanish Club. Outside of school, I also like to participate in volunteering for my church, doing food drives, being a leader at summer camps. I also like to babysit for families, and that's pretty much me. Thank you so much. Bye.
Hello, I am Joshua Smith, a junior and the new student ambassador for Plainfield North High School. On my free time, I enjoy playing guitar, collecting fountain pens, and hanging out with my 2 younger brothers. This year as a student ambassador, I look forward to helping the district create a better environment for all of the students at Plainfield North and at our neighboring high schools. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sam Muthin, and I'm going to be a senior at Plainfield East High School. Some activities that I enjoy are being a part of band, Scholastic Bowl, math team, and learning how to code. I'm really excited to be a student ambassador this year, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thanks!
We're live?
Yes.
All right, welcome this evening, everyone. This is the Curriculum and Technology Committee meeting for Wednesday, May 19th. It is 6:31 and we started. We have on the committee now, going forward, myself as committee chair, Dr. Kathy Baxter, and Teresa, are the three board members. So we'll turn it over to you.
Sure. Good evening. Welcome, Dr. Baxter. Welcome, Mr. Kerber, back to our committee here, and Teresa as well. The 60 starts from now on every month will be our meeting, so we do that. We have one approval item, which is our middle school and high school novel list. Our first up is going to be a representative from our student ambassadors, and just a quick, this is our student ambassador group here. And I know for Dr. Baxter and Teresa, you kind of work with them a little bit, but we have this is the third year of our student ambassador program. We have 4 students in total, 1 from each school. They do a variety of projects and such. This year has been really, disjointed, as you can imagine. So tonight we have 2 that are studying for AP tests and 1 had to work. So what will happen is in the future, we will continue to bring our ambassadors, but Lydia, I did want to just give you some opportunity and our board members to ask you any questions. And I forgot, where do I see her here? Yep.
I'm right here.
Oh, hi, Lydia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Lydia, just a few things like we had shared before. Really, our purpose was to just recap this year and answer any questions our board committee members had, and then really look at direction for the future that you and the ambassadors have talked about. So I'll just start it off, and if you could share with, tell us about this year.
Well, this year has been kind of like different because of COVID and everything. So it was kind of hard to be able to like present a bunch of new things because everything was trying to just tackle everything that was a result of like COVID and like staying home and remote learning. But we were like able to be like the spokespeople for like our school, and we provided like insight to Mr. Wood at our meetings that we had with him almost every Monday. And we like told him like what we saw was like issues and like what we saw was working. And like moving forward, one idea that we've been talking about is like having a junior and a senior ambassador for each school, just so it's like every year it's like not cut off and like it's an easy start going into. So like any projects that were not finished can be finished the next year. Like when we started, we had a full new group of people, so it was kind of hard. But that's about it.
Well, and just for the board piece, so we have 4 ambassadors, 3 of them are juniors, so they will return. Unfortunately, the one, Sam, from East could not make it. She's the one with the advanced placement testing. Today's her last day of school. She's our only senior. So in addition to that, but, Sam made every single meeting except for this one. So, but as we talked about, we've asked the group, where do they see things moving forward? And what we would do is for East, we will pick a new ambassador within that process, and that starts now, but we can come in August with our new ambassadors that are there. Any questions that board members would have on where they see this or about the year or move forward?
How are the ambassadors chosen?
Lydia, can you share about how the ambassadors are chosen?
Well, we like last year it was like April, I think, but how I saw this like opportunity was it was like on Twitter, and there was like a Google form that we filled out, and then the 4 past like ambassadors, they like went through and they like read all of our responses on the survey, and it was very similar to like applying for like NHS, like National Honor Society, and they chose like from like the person from Central didn't choose the person from Central. Like they all looked around, so it was like objective, and they just thought who would be the best fit for it.
And we do ask the schools to bring us 2 names, just so you know, and we do, once the ambassadors make their recommendation, then we run it through the principal's office there as well, so that they, they're aware of their ambassador and those pieces of it. So they, through the application process that's there, 2 names go to our principal, and then from there we finalize, who those ambassadors are.
Lydia, what do you think are the, I guess I said most important characteristics that these ambassadors have?
Well, probably like willingness to like speak up. And I'm just reading like what's said in the chat. Sorry. I'm trying to like incorporate that, but like willingness to speak up and like commitment, and like you have to actually like want to like see like changes, or like I don't know how else to explain it.
Lydia, what kind of topics, what decisions do you guys make to help the student body?
We haven't made any like hardcore like decisions like you guys do. But we've like this year, like I don't know how it was like last year, but this year we couldn't really make that many decisions. We basically just said like how all the changes have like impacted us differently. And like when like the school schedule changed, we saw how people were like either like struggling more, or like what like the end result was, and we just provided like insight to what was happening within the schools.
And previous groups have done projects, around certain things. One thing this year is Plainfield East and Plainfield South had student tutors, which was a result of the ambassadors, where they work with the middle school students. So they'll do like a project a year that they want to focus on. But like we had said, it was just, this year was really like, how's it going? What can we do to make things better? Type of environment. Lydia, I had one question. We had all these computers this year, where every student had a computer. What do you see the direction as far as the balance of when to use the computer, when not? How does it work at home? How does it work at school? What do you think could be successful?
I really like having the computers. I'm not in school right now, but I know that I don't remember which of the other 4 are in school, but they liked having them in school too. But I know that one of the main things I do not like having the computers for is like for testing. A lot of the testing like is going online, like in the future. Like I know that everything's trying to be like within technology, but it's just a test that I could do in like 10 minutes takes me like the whole entire class period, or like way longer than I need, just to like figure out the format of it. Wait, what was your question again?
Nope, you nailed it. Just how do you see the computers being used, best? And you kind of hit on that with the assessment. You see that's the direction everybody's going, but there's a challenge to that. And the kids liked having the computer. So it's just, how do you see computers in schools in the future?
Yeah, I really like having my computer, and I'm sad that we have to turn it back in.
Well, you should be able to keep it for over the summer, Lydia.
Yes.
Yep. Only seniors are turning in.
Yes. I'm glad.
Well, thank you, Lydia. We look forward to working with you and the other student ambassadors as we, go forward into next year, and look to, see you in person, at meetings as life gets back to normal, and certainly hear the wealth of opportunities that you're bringing forward to us, representing, the student bodies from each of the 4 high schools as you will. We really do appreciate that. I personally like your suggestion idea of creating more student ambassadors from each school with the opportunity of creating, that transition piece a little bit more smoothly going forward than what was experienced last year. So again, thank you for that feedback. Glenn, did you want to talk a little bit too about the November, the III conference?
Sure.
Presentation?
Yep, we had, there's a board retreat presentation, III conference is in downtown Chicago, usually like the weekend before Thanksgiving holiday. It's really school boards across the state of Illinois go to downtown Chicago. Districts provide professional development opportunities and such, and our presentation on our ambassadors was accepted for the second year in a row. And so what we do is we present on our ambassadors to other school board members across the state and look to, share what we've learned and then learn other topics from them. So in November, and we'll be in touch, Lydia, both one on our, the moving forward in the summer here, but then prospectively in November, how you guys want to be a part of that.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Glenn. Yeah, it's really it is a wonderful opportunity just to expound a little bit on what Glenn said. The conference is usually attended by about 10,000 school board members and district administrators from throughout the state of Illinois. And, it is really a model conference nationwide. And certainly, our model of student ambassadors and the opportunity to present that to others, as a leading practice here in District 202, I think is really good and certainly a wonderful opportunity for any of the student ambassadors that might be able to participate and really just for the district as a whole to share what we're doing with others across the state. So thanks, Glenn, for submitting that for a second year in a row. I know it's a little bit of work to do, but thank you for taking that on. And hopefully we will be able to present in person live in November this year, unlike last year when it got canceled. So, all right. Moving on. Thank you, Lydia. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you.
So our next item is an approval item. It's around our middle school and high school novel list. And so in your packet is a complete list of the novels. I'm going to turn it over to Paula and Dan here to address questions you have and highlights from that. So Paula, would you want to share? I'm going to share my screen.
Great, thank you, Glenn. As you can see, we're bringing forward the middle school, high school novel list for this year. Each year we update the list. We provide the teachers with guidance as to which novels to use and that can be used in the classroom, and also as a resource for parents on what literature is accessible in the middle school, high school classrooms. At the middle school level, if you take a look at our list, and I'm not sure if you can see it in color, but the books that we have added to this year's list for approval appear in red. If you do not have a color copy and you do have access electronically, you'll be able to see that different color. At the middle school level, we have recommended to add 21 new texts across the board: 6th grade, 6 honors, 7th grade, 7 honors, 8th grade, 8 honors, 7 new texts at the 6th grade level, 4 new texts at the 7th grade level, and 9 new texts at the 8th grade level. Our evaluation process involves our language arts teachers, our media specialists, and our social studies teachers. So we have a number of professionals with different lenses and includes building administrator, AP specifically. So any text that you see there in black text is text that we have had approved in previous years. Our process about a year ago was to start to encourage our middle schools to look at more diverse text, diverse characters, diverse authors, diverse settings, diverse experience of the characters. And Dr. McDonald will speak to the process that high school has done this year, looking at through the cultural competency lens at the high school novel list. That is a process that we are looking to mirror next year. But you'll see with the addition of most of our new texts are some more culturally diverse texts, including our author study.
So we will move towards a cultural competency lens next year as we move into the middle school process. So I'm going to pass the baton here to Dr. McDonald so that he can fill you in on the high school process. Before I do that, do you have specific questions regarding the middle school novel list?
Questions from
It said that the teachers use the rubric to determine which books they, that you picked. Can you kind of give me some insight on what that rubric was?
Yeah, I'm going to have Dr. McDonald do that because that is specific to the high school process this year. That's the same rubric that we will be using next year in our processes. We go through the same processes high school did this year. So that's probably better that Dr. McDonald talk to that specific rubric.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Dan McDonald. I'm the high school director of curriculum. We did a more extensive search and discovery of new text to propose for this year. We started the process back in January with a series of meetings. We developed a novel review committee of 24 individuals that included teachers, administrators, media specialists, division chairs, the ELL director, and members of the Cultural Competency Committee. Like I said, 24 individuals in all. We developed, with the help of a consultant, we attended and worked through several work sessions in developing a rubric and researching different rubrics that were out there for children's and scholastic aged readers. Developed a rubric that, developed an assessment tool that had us take a look at our curriculum and the diversity that we offered in our current curriculum and tried to determine some areas where we could improve a little bit. Along with that, we developed a tool by, kind of stealing a little bit from other people, other tools that we had seen and researched, and developed our own tool to allow teachers to submit candidates of books, book candidates basically, that we would then purchase and have teams of teachers read these books. And so we had proposed books. We had a team that read those individual books to see how they would fit into our curriculum, if they would fit into our curriculum, and where they would fit into our curriculum. We had 44 individuals. Those are English teachers, administrators, the same kind of group, but different, not just on the novel review committee, but additional teachers at all levels really participate in that reading of the 21 books. And the books that we're presenting tonight are the books that made it through that process. We're proposing, as you can see, we're proposing a book at English 1, They Both Die at the End, English 2, A Long Way Down, English 3, The Vanishing Half, and then 2 books at the AP literature level, which will be student choice novels. They do things a little bit different because they're following the AP College Board curriculum at that level, and so they need different text. And so those two last books, Sing, Unburied Sing, and Exit West, are for the AP literature level. So it was a great process. Our teachers really drove the process, had a hand in recommending books, reading books, choosing books, and we hope to continue to grow this process each year. But we're pretty happy with how the teachers went through this process and developed it. So any questions for me at the high school level?
We can share the rubric too, Teresa, if you'd like to see it.
Okay, thank
So
you.
Dan, we'll share the rubric with the committee, and I can work with you. Just in the update, we'll put that in there.
Sure.
I notice there's no cost involved with this, so I'm going to assume that the students buy their own copies of the novels.
We are going to be purchasing, these are anchor texts. These are required reads, the first 3, the English 1, 2, and 3. There's not numbers attached to it because numbers weren't ready for that class yet. So we will have numbers in the future purchasing these texts. But these are going to be the 3 books for English 1, 2, and 3 are going to be district purchased because they're going to be required reads.
I got it. Doesn't cost anything to make the list.
And that's kind of the way we've segmented things too, is that, this committee approves the content side of things, and then Site and Finance will handle the finance piece of it. Any other questions about that? We're good with recommending for approval then on Monday night?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Our next agenda item is just an update on our ESSER student support update. And you saw heard some proposals through our PPA committee, but just wanted to highlight a few things. Some of this is information we had supplied to our previous committee members, but due to just having some new members and the topic of ESSER, we wanted to highlight this and make sure you understand what our recommendations are. A few things: the FY21 summer programming. Remember, that's no cost to families, and transportation is provided to students. That's there. Our ESSERs, that really is the ESSERs 2 money. We budgeted this summer, every summer for this. So the summer school our plan is to continue to do that and see where it goes. Then FY22 and beyond, we believe that staff, professional development, and technology should be our investments with ESSERs. And really what we have here, and this is kind of the highlighted sheet, is we talk in the blue is the, now can you guys see my screen? No.
No, I don't think
sorry. Okay, let's see if this will work. So what we have is, like we said, ESSER's money, FY21, these are our summer programs that we're doing. We did want to talk about some teacher tech training a little bit later, but then FY22 and beyond, really we are looking at, these type of things, reading specialists, tech coaches, and some of those pieces. So just related to our summer school, as a reminder, the general numbers that we have is we have about 300 for elementary, 600 for middle school, and 900 for high school. That's kind of the general numbers. And we'll be able to give you final numbers either at the end of this week or the middle of next week. So I don't know if there's questions on the summer programs. Directors, did you want to highlight anything that we were doing within the summer?
I think I would just like to say that in terms of the summer programs, in order for these to be successful, we have to have staff on board willing to teach in the summer, willing to be involved with students in the summer. And our teachers have stepped up at the middle school level to really be involved and meet the needs of students to help them transition successfully back into a quasi back to normal school year next year. So, I've worked with teachers now for the last month on planning these middle school programs, and they're doing an excellent job. So I think kudos out to our teachers to step up to provide these services for kids.
I agree with what Paul is saying. It is really kudos to the teachers that are stepping up and continuing to work with kids over the summer. There several of these initiatives that you're looking at here in the blue are really first time efforts at trying to address and help students continue to learn over the summer. A couple of things at the high school level. The summer bridge classes we have are new this year. A bridge Algebra 1 class and a bridge English 1 class. Those are both going to be focusing in on helping kids prepare those prerequisite skills so they can be successful in Algebra 1 and English 1. Those are new initiatives this year. Our dual credit summer school at the high school level is the first time JJC has partnered with any district to allow dual credit to happen during summer school. So we're very fortunate to be the leaders in that area. We are offering a dual credit general psychology class worth 3 college credits, and orientation to business and personal finance, which is Finance 100 at JJC, and that's a 3-credit class. So if these students were to take this class just at JJC, it would cost them about $500, and they're getting it for free for the OTB class and for $50 for the general psychology class. So it's a tremendous savings for our community and the students that are taking advantage of it. Currently, we have about 20 students in each of those classes. So, and the deadline is open till the 21st, this Friday. So there's still time. So just some new things that we're trying to offer at the high school level.
I'll add some new things for special ed as well. So this summer, we are adding some high school special education classes for summer. Those have not been offered at the high school level before. Traditionally, we've only offered our programs through extended school year, which is primarily to ensure our students with special needs don't regress. Our intent for next summer is to look to add an additional summer program for students with IEPs that may not qualify for extended school year. But Tim, can you talk a little bit about the high school classes that we added at the high school for special ed this summer? Okay, Tim, I think you might be muted. We can't hear you. So I do know that some of the courses that we are offering are our fundamental courses that many of our students had difficulty passing. And so looking to give them an opportunity for credit recovery over the summer for their special education courses. They'll primarily be offered in our fundamental English and math. So we are offering a few different courses. Some of them will be directly taught by our high school special education teachers. Others will be through Edgenuity, which is an online program, but will also be supported by our special education teachers. So this is our first year offering that for the summer.
Finally, for elementary, this is our first year with elementary summer school. It is for students that did not meet and that are significantly behind grade level. We are going to focus on essential standards for math and reading. I am very thankful for the teachers. We have 25 teachers volunteer, 3 to 4 per grade level, and support staff for office reading specialists. So we are able to run it at a site this year. It looks like we will get up to about 400 students, which is great. Again, it's going to be a focus on what students did not need and how to get them ready for being successful next year.
Thank you, Tammy. And just looking at the red side, FY22 and beyond, we in person 5 days a week. That's our intention for next year. I know the Illinois State Board of Education came out with some language today. Dr. Averill has mentioned it. That's been our message. Full in person 5 days a week. On the red, we did have some items through PPA that were approved. Our learning coaches and our tech coaches. But also wanted to point out that our ESSERS money, and this is one of the questions that one of our board members had asked, is if it's a new position, we brought it to PPA, but part of us using the ESSERS money is to add some reading specialists at elementary and middle school. And so that did not come fresh because we already have those positions. Title I, interventionists, we're going to add interventionists there. We already have some. We use Title I, and we actually wouldn't use ESSERS for that, but redistribute some of our Title I money. And then as you look at some of these other pieces, we have a virtual mentoring program. We partnered with IEA for our new teachers where they have a coach, instructional coach, and a mentor supplied by the IEA. And so we're going to continue that program for support for our staff. But just wanted to highlight FY22 and answer any questions that you guys would have around summer or next year. And we will continue to provide updates every committee meeting related to both the summer and FY22 and beyond. That's what, our June meeting is you'll probably see this slide again.
No, and just to comment on what the directors said, I think it's really good that our teachers have stepped up, given the year that they've had, 15 months that they've had, that they've stepped up to do that. I think, and again, for us not to have to pay more for them, which many other districts have had to do, have chosen to do, because again, that I think is going to put places in a hard position in the future. When you pay more now, and yet you want the same work done in the future, you're still going to probably have to pay more. So for us, I think to not have had to go down that road, I think is really good.
Really, just one other thing to highlight this. So here's the summer programs as part of your package. This was there before as well, just to make it public, but did want to highlight some of the technology things we're doing over the summer for professional development. And so Laura, I'm going to turn it over to you that you can highlight this. One of our major goals, as you know, is next year, like we said, every student has a computer. What's that blended model look like, for us as we move forward? So Laura, do you want to highlight anything or tell us about some of the things going on this summer?
Sure, and absolutely, thank you. And for those that are new, my name is Laura Whedon. I'm the Director of Digital Learning and Innovation for our district. The biggest thing I want to highlight about our summer in general, and as we're moving into next school year, is that we're really trying to shape and focus what we call the blended learning model. And that is where students are able to effectively use computers in the classroom. The teachers are able to use it as a tool, but also be able to advance our teaching practices and instruction. So that way it's a blend between technology as well as in-person learning. And so one of the things that we started last year, even in the pandemic, is we really reached out to teachers and asked, what do you need? And we were able to put on what I call the Summer Summit. And that was where teachers would teach one another on specific programs that we felt were necessary for the kids to be successful. So for last year, it was a lot on Google Classroom. It was a lot on Zoom. It was a lot on Screencastify, those video recording tools. That model was incredibly successful from the feedback, because each one of the teachers that went to a session, and we put on 101 sessions last year, they loved the small group. They loved being trained by our own teachers that really dug into it. And so for our second year of our Summer Summit, again, sent a survey out for my digital learning committee. And these are the actual programs that we utilize within Google, or as well as some of our softwares across all grade levels that they said we want more information on, we would love more training on. And so our Summer Summit is going to focus on our own teachers and our instructional technology coaches providing sessions for our teachers for 7 different days throughout the summer within 1 hour sessions. So as you can see, there's still a lot on our Google platform as we start to make that transition. There's a lot on blended learning and really looking at that as a primary and intermediate, our middle school or high school levels, as well as some of these softwares that we have invested into throughout our district. And so a couple of the big ones is Pear Deck. That was a software that we invested into this year. And so we were able to give some on-demand trainings. And now this is from our own teachers. This is what worked in my classroom. This is what I still want to learn more about. And here's some really cool tips and tricks. So right now, as planned with our instructional technology coaches, our digital learning committee, we are looking to offer 175 sessions to our staff throughout the summer. And it will run at the end of July, from July 27th through 29th, and then August 2nd through 5th. And the nice part, it is virtual still, and they're 1 hour sessions. So if I'm a teacher at home, I can find a session that works well within my schedule. And the teachers will receive their credits, their CPDUs for this, and they would be able to continue to advance their learning. The other great part about our professional development is we record most of them. And so if you are not able to attend that live session, you are able to receive a recording of that and still continue on with the learning. So yeah, that's our big push for this summer for our professional development. But it is towards the end of the summer. As we know, we want to get our kids within summer school and all these great summer programs that are happening.
Thank you, Laura. And she organizes professional development around summer school as well, just so you know. So that's part of it that wanted to share with our committee related to our commitment to technology training and how we come up with those things.
Yeah, well, and I said these are the big ones. The Summer Summit, where it encompasses every staff member. It could be a teacher, it could be a paraprofessional, it could be administrative assistant, the secretary, anyone that wants to attend is absolutely more than welcome. We bring anyone in from our own school district. The big part for summer for smaller groups in general is we are doing specific certification trainings for our teachers. So right now we have 3 to 4 cohorts we've organized over the summer as well. And that would provide those teachers 2 full days of what we consider Google Boot Camp. And they would become true Google leaders within their school buildings as well. So there's a lot of different pieces that we will continue to offer for our staff.
Thanks, Laura.
Yeah.
Any questions, comments from our committee? Okay.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, Laura. That's it for our agenda items this evening, but did want to just put this on the committee's radar, get your feedback. So one, we have one approval item, which is the middle school, high school novel list. We saw the information. You look ahead in June. The Illinois State Board of Education, we have a driver education fee waiver that we applied for them. It takes 5 years to do that. What happens is the state of Illinois, they cap your driver education behind the wheel fee at $250 is what happens. We submitted a waiver to actually go up to $400. We only charge $300. And so what we would do is we would look to apply for a waiver again to go above the $250 cost for our driver's education. I will tell you that there's over 600 districts have applied for some kind of driver ed fee waiver. So this isn't like it's just us, that's doing that. But for the committee feedback and board feedback is we would have to do a hearing before a board meeting is what happens is in August is when this is due to the state. So we would recommend either late June or early July board meeting to have our hearing for driver education fee waivers. And so I can, we can pull the board. We need about 3 weeks to turn it around once we know, we just do some pieces of that. So I'll ask you, Kevin or Dr. Abel, what you guys think we should do related to the hearing.
Yeah, we want to give you guys enough time to do it. So I mean, if it makes sense, do it in June. And again, if you can either now or later kind of clarify the purpose of charging more.
Sure.
That would be good.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yep.
So you're not, I was going to ask that, and I think you answered it now, is, so that doesn't mean that people taking behind the wheel over the summer are doing it with no fee?
No, but they pay now. That was the only one we made. We had behind the wheel and the dual credit. We made families pay this year.
So can I add, I know we're talking about some things for future topics. One of the things I would like to add to our June committee meeting is an overview of the social emotional supports that are available for our students. I know we've discussed about ESSERS as well as some other initiatives supporting student social emotional learning. So I think it's important for us to provide the board with an overview of the social emotional supports that we have for all of our students at the next committee meeting. Obviously, some of our ESSERS money will be used to support that, but it's also good to share the information of what supports are already in progress to support our students. I know there were some questions in the chat, so I want to make sure that all of our new board members, as well as current prior board members, have a good understanding of how we are supporting our students' social emotional learning after the pandemic. So if you are okay with that, I'd like to add that as a topic for next.
Very good point, Nina. Yep. Very good.
Thank you.
All right, so that is it. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Kathy's motion.
Second.
Teresa's second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is 7:10 and we are adjourned.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
So we're adjourned until 8 o'clock for the next committee meeting? Is it?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you.